In the following videos, I will show you how via basic mesh modeling, we can very quickly create a conceptual representation of a side stand like this. I say conceptual representation because like with the drawer or here the main housing, everything is just a very basic geometry, not necessarily very precise or showing the individual construction elements. This is very good to quickly explore proportions, scale, variations, etc. And then we take the geometry we created and from it rebuild our design or create all the individual construction elements. As you can see, including the joinery. And hopefully with this, you start realizing how modeling is not necessarily modeling. Like hand sketching, I can sketch something very fast to explore an idea, or I can sketch slower and be more detailed. And we do everything for a particular reason. And industrial design, where we explore ideas and try to identify problems, is all about a process. So we start with something more conceptual, explorative, and then we go to something more refined. Okay, with all that said, let's go new, make a new file. Under scene units, let's set this to imperial, and inches, we will add a cube. So let's rotate and zoom in a little bit, press N, and for dimensions, this is 16 by 16 by 19. And as always, we have to apply our scale. Very good. So out of this cube, now I would like to cut out all my individual elements now. So you remember from the concept model, we have here the drawer, here we have the opening. If we go into edit mode, we don't really see anything there. Actually, before we continue, we might want to move this object up. So this bottom part should be at a height of 5 inches. So I can move this one up to here. Look at this. So actually I can see that this is now at 9.5. Okay. Now this lines up. I want the bottom part to be at 5 inches off the ground, however. To be very precise here, I can go into edit mode, select the bottom face, Shift S, cursor to select it. In object mode, right click origin to the 3D cursor. You see now it's there. And then we move this object center up by 5 inches. And there you see now that the object really is 5 inches above the ground. Very good. Okay. So let's go to edit mode, and here on this face now, there we need to create these two openings. The easiest way to start in doing this is by going to face inset. Let's do an inset, and then we clean this up by entering the thickness to 5 inches. I now need to have a loop cut that goes around. So we have also here the loop cut and the knife. There are some more tools also below. And the loop cut is actually, the command is Control R. And the knife command is K. K like knife, and loop cut, well, Control R. Okay, so how this works, I will show. Control R. There you see it creates a loop. And when I click and I move this one up or down and then click, you see it added a loop cut. And this actually goes completely around. When I press K, you see I have a knife and a green dot. When I go to an edge, it highlights this edge, and I click another edge and then press enter. Now it inserted an edge right there. If I go to face select, you see now you have individual faces. And you can see already there is a tiny problem with the loop cut we created first, because it slices everything. But with the knife, I only can slice a face, which is what I want. So we undo all our steps. You see actually the undo command always can undo a selection. Then we press K and I hold control. You see actually when I do a hold control, it snaps to the midpoint. Click, hold control and click to this midpoint and enter. Why did I do this? With holding control, snapping from midpoint to midpoint, very simple. This edge is now horizontal. Let's say by accident, you did something like this. So it's angled. How do we straighten this? This is actually very easy. We can go to scale, and then in this case it's the z-axis. We scale it along the z-axis to 0. You see how everything to 0 makes it aligned along an axis. So because along the z-axis we scale, we align it along the x-axis, or the y-axis in this case. Okay, there we are. Let's go back to move. So from here to here, this should be 5.5 inches, and the distance between these two lines should be ½ inch. There are two ways how we can do this. A very quick way. We simply turn on our measurement as that overlay. Then I select this edge and move everything up and down, hold shift so I can do these commands a little bit more fine and pay attention to the length of my edges. Hold shift there. So this is now 0.5 and this is 5.5. If we want to be more precise, because this was more eyeball based on the rounding of the numeric values, we can also do the following. So I select this edge, and here is my edge slide, and I slide to the top. Very good. Just make sure, however, because in some videos I show how to auto merge vertices, we do not want this to be turned on. And now we can move this down by minus 5.5. Minus none because we go down the z-axis. Now we select this, go to edge, slide this up, go to move, move this down minus 0.5. Okay, cool. So now we can go ahead and select this and then go to extrude and extrude this in. Can select this face and extrude this in. Yeah, okay. No, so a very quick ideation. The problem, however, is, well, so when we extrude this and we move this further through, we end up with stuff like this. So it's self-intersecting. That's not good. Let's undo this step. We also have here an extrude manifold, but also here now we cut this through. So some who know SketchUp, you might think, well, maybe it works the same way. Nah, it does not. So in SketchUp, for example, we would extrude this face. It would really cut an opening. But this is not really a big problem. So what we'll do is we will go back to this original stage where we just have these two faces not extruded. Then we press X and delete this face. Press X, delete that face. Select this back face, X, and say delete vertices. So we have this frame set left. And this is actually good. This is ideal. We know that this is 16 inches wide, and along the y-axis everything should be 16 inches. So let's select all, go to extrude, extrude, and now I type in 16 negative and press enter. There we are. So you see I extruded 16 inches. One quick double check. Whoop, very good that I did it. Select all, mesh, calculate outside. And then we can turn this off. Let's leave edit mode, because actually this part pretty much is nearly done. Let's make the back plate. This is going to be very easy. We make a cube. Y, in this case, should be 1/4 inch material thickness. Then Z is 5.5. Now that's the height here. Now when this is 16 inches and 0.5 material thickness, both sides is 1 inch. So this means X in this case is 15 inches. Also again, don't forget, just automatically apply scale. And we switch our snapping to vertex. And we can click on the white ring. See, then we have a 3D movement, and then we hold Control, go to this corner and snap it into that position. Very good. Now that was pretty easy. To do the drawer, that's also very easy. We say Control C, Control V, copy and paste, move this forward, hold Control, and then let's zoom in. Yeah, it snapped to the correct position. Very good. Select the main basket here or frame, hide it. If you don't see those, as a refresh, we can turn those on here. Then we select this object, go to edit mode, face select, select the back face, move this over, hold Control, and snap it to there. Very good. Select the top face, X, delete face. Then we can go to point select, select these 2 points, right click, subdivide, and 4 cuts. That is good. These 2 points here we select, switch to bounding box, and we move this down by -1. Then we can select these 2 points, go to scale, and scale along X, and pay attention to the numbers. I would like the left and right edge to be 5 inches. How long is this edge? 3 inches. That is not enough. So let's make this 5 inches. So let's zoom in a little bit more and zoom one more time and hold Shift. There, now it was easier. See, this is actually now vertical. That does not look very good. Maybe 4.75. What about 4.5? 4.5 looks better. Very good. Also here, quick check. All good. So red inside, that is fine because it's a paper model. Actually, here, let's keep this on. We will add a solidify modifier with a 1/4 inch material thickness, and we set this the mode to complex. Complex is actually more precise, but also a tick slower. If we zoom to here, you might see that the thickness is not perfect. So with the simple, we would have to turn on even thickness, but here complex in general is just the preferred method to do. Then let's turn face orientation off. Leave edit mode. Alt H is unhide, or we simply press this. We can call this frame, drawer, and maybe backplate or panel. Again, use very logical names, and this we call concept. Okay, so with this we finished the upper basket, and then in the next video I will show you how we can build the feet.